like wine. It was given to me by the company that made it. It's an indie game. It's an indie RPG game apparently. Um yeah, one day I'll remember people's phone numbers. I don't even remember Logan's number. The only number I remember is my mom's work number and my mom's phone number. Thank you for the host, Logan. I guess you say what can make me feel this way. My girl, talking about my girl, my girl. But yeah, no, this week's just been uh I mean, I did have a fun time because my aunt and my uncle came into into the States. I haven't seen my uncle for like 4 years. So it was good to see him. Wait. And then they're forcing my hand, slash not really, but they want me to come and visit them in Switzerland in August. So thank you for the host, Logan, again, for making Louis. I don't even have my chat bot up. I'm such a horrible streamer. I mean, upload it, or not upload it, but start it. Shout out to Travis wherever he is. He bought a Blue Esports jersey. I'm super proud of him. I don't even know where my jersey is. My jersey's somewhere. Oh, I need to wear it now. No, it should be. There it is. But yeah, no, this. So I have to figure out money to come and visit them in August. They're paying for my flight. I just need to figure out spending money. And then figure out if I want to go to Germany as well for Gamescom. Oh. Thank you for gifting that sub to Blue Esports. I appreciate ya. Welcome, Blue Esports. But yeah, here's the new vape that I spent a lot of money on. It's Rainbow. Like my life. See, that's the most positive thing I've ever said. Usually I say I'm dead inside. Because new Twitch terms of service, by the way. Okay, night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house. The only building you've seen for days.
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open. You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good. The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
Hey, Travis. And yes, I was, Erd.
The man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly,
I guess you say what can make me feel this way, my girl, talking about my girl.
Someone's trying to buy like $160 worth of stuff on your canceled credit card. That's me. Cough, cough. Just kidding. Good thing it gets canceled. I have so many things. We're just gonna have a chill stream, and I'm just gonna try not to worry about all the stresses. And just life. Life is stressful. But hello. Hello,
one by
darkness,
one,
my old friend.
the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
I don't even know what was going on in the story. Like, I launched and it went into this story.
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
We don't even get to say no about
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high. But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that. The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
Do we check our cards or do you have my word? See, he looks evil, so I don't even think we have that good of a...
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
He stole our cards, what?
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that. Your labor. You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know.
Hey, Kudo, how you doing? Okay, good night, Kudo.
To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them, telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy. Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds, They might be true, but they grow wild and unbelievable with the telling.
I like the, like, artistic feel of it. Like, look how nicely drawn everything is.
The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit, perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie? Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. Tell the story of the parting of a cloud of fog to reveal a brief glimpse of the land of promise and plenty. Tell the story of the endless series of doors of different kinds, each leading only to more doors. Tell the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night. Tell the story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses. Well, I'm gonna go with that one. You tell the story of tossing a pair of bones.
It's just luck.
Wow.
Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty. Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you. It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people. Not
I should have seen that you were a trickster, my dude.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliche in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
You tell the story of parting of a cloud fall or
Your deepest desires, your greatest wish, heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain, El Dorado, the Promised Land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine.
oh hey, where the water tastes like wine.
Well, I don't know where that is. It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet. They're all searching for the same thing.
You tell the story of endless series of doors of different kinds leading
You
only
sometimes
to more.
have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy? Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety. I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier, but still you'll feel pain.
That
Hunger,
seems
weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories.
I'd rather keep my
part
flesh,
not
Mr.
often
Wolf.
told. And death, yes. But don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back. Go on your way, Seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you. I'm jealous in some ways. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, wow. I'm a bone. Oh yeah, I'm just a skeleton.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman come for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much behind to drag it down.
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway. The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. "Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?" You're about to hand her a smoke when those men draw pistols and shove you hard into the dirt. You know these girls? Once they've dumped your bag out into the road, they decide you're harmless. If you were selling booze too, you'd have a lot more cash, sneers one. On the porch behind him, the two bootleggers are fingering their empty rifles, grinning in disappointment.
I'm gone empty. They're the ones who'll bury me.
I guess we're in the USA. We could go to Canada if we wanted to.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take
I can
me
whistle.
hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be my tale, my vagrant song.
A woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis. A confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. And wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise. You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit.
Well, she doesn't need to
You
remove a
decide
ribbon.
to seek a second opinion. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
Do we ask around or do we just approach her? Let's just approach her.
You ask the woman if you may join her at a public bench. You may. Lovely outside, isn't it? Her eyes are a beautiful shade of brown. Beneath the yellow ribbon, a thick, fibrous scar wraps around her throat.
I think I've heard like this
Where's
story
Alexis?
before.
It reminds me of Paris.
Like, and then she removes the freaking ribbon and her head falls off. Like, it was in one of those, like, scary stories to tell in the dark. Have a good night, Travis. Thank you again. Have a good one. Hey, Jono, how you doing?
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle.
I'll
The
say
shape
hello.
gives a start.
Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here. Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore. But I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
His father must have been here at some point, but you sure can't see him now,
Please go. He's coming back any minute.
says the boy, growing agitated.
He's going to see you talking to me. Please, go.
He only calms down when you leave. You don't see another soul for miles.
It's the boy who ran away from his father. I'm good. We just chillin'. It gives me a westerny kind of feel.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore. Just when the fishing is going to be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess. Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place.
I know that the game is currently on sale on Steam. I wonder if it's on Humble Bundle. It is on Humble Bundle. So if you guys would like this game, it is currently $16.99 on Humble Bundle. It is only on sale for one more day. Well, and see, the choices will affect the game.
The woman walks the small town
hey.
square with the poise of Betty Davis. A confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet wrapped around her neck. A yellow. You question a well-dressed man
Where have
parked
you heard this
outside
story?
an oyster. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. A longshoreman watches Steve Doors load up a crane. Yellow ribbon? That woman's dead. Ghost dead. Buddies of mine, they've seen her all over the Atlantic for decades now.
See, I knew she was dead.
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open with a daunting staircase before you. At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door.
I really like the music, I like the narration, and definitely the artistry, though.
Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough.
Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door.
Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead. After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand.
Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
He has such a more high-pitched voice, if like tall and muscular with the hint of a punch beneath his wide chest. I would have thought he would have had the deeper voice. Now I'm considering buying it, and I'll definitely never play it because backlog. Well, I'll be playing Final Fantasy 15 tomorrow.
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers.
It's
hoisting
funny,
a
like they're like
teapot.
tiny and like somebody being called tiny, and he's definitely not tiny.
Oh, we manage.
The tall one sits on the sofa, casually wrapping an arm around the other lighthouse keeper.
The quiet suits us just fine.
He needs his quiet time. He's a writer. The tall one grunts.
I dabble. But you must have some good stories from the road.
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
On the road again. Let's go back up north. I like how like the arrows travel.
hear the whippoorwill first, shrill and close. Then you see him, high up above the black streaks of wires. A lineman, fraying belt holding him to the pole. A damned bird has come to perch on a power line, stare hungrily at the man's soul. He's unsteady. His hands are shaky, and his body sways in the wind. You spot his tool bag next to the pole, worn and frayed, much like the man. A half-gone bottle of cheap rye pokes out of it.
Do we take the bottle of rye? Or do we walk away? Because it seems like the dude's drunk up there. That's a thank you song. Give me a sec, guys. Another D&D book is dropping, more monsters. But aren't there like already like tons of monsters? So what are we playing today? We're playing Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. It's a indie visual novel. It says it was an RPG too, but I don't think it's an RPG. So far from what I'm gathering from just starting it is you were a wandering traveler, you went into a bar or a saloon or something, you started playing a game of cards with these people, came down to you and the last guy. You had the winning hand, but all of a sudden when you decided to lay your word / your like life onto the line, the cards mysteriously changed to where you just had random tarot cards, and the guy across from you is revealed to be a direwolf. Sends you on a mission to go get stories from across the US. Seems like it's like old western-ish, and you have to choose like different story like choices. Let's take the bottle from him.
What's he gonna do? Come down from the pole? You snatch it from his bag in one quick motion and walk away. Hey! He starts, but whatever he's about to say slips into a slurred whine as his belt snaps. His body plummets, his limbs go slack with the understanding of what is happening to him. He tumbles into the tall, dry grass by the side of the road with a muffled noise. All you hear is the call of the whippoorwill. Eager, loud, thankful.
That's a morbid story. And some of these stories are morbid, some of them aren't really. And you can always begin anew, I guess. Oh, you can. Okay. Control inventory. App? We have 219 stories to gather. And we have yet to get these guys. Almost, kind of. And like there's many different ways you can take.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that very man come for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much behind to drag me down.
Oh, and you're like a skeleton too at the same time.
Low tide on a moonless night. This beach is long, stretching toward a receding sea. In the darkness, the sand seems coarse and gray, alien. The stars are dim and distant. It outshines the stars with its presence, a streak of sickly colored light, leaving a trail of distorted fire. It slowly creeps along the sky like a vast worm, though you know that, given the distance, it must be moving at great speed. Its parabola heads south to north. In the far distance, just for a second, a boardwalk town is engulfed in light. With a rumble, its street lamps and windows dim, then go dark. All that you can see emanating from there is an otherworldly color that you can't quite name.
Yeah, I haven't been on since Thursday, or oh, did they reset all the top cheers? I guess since like they updated stream chats for people. I just noticed, I looked over at my stream chat. It says cheer now to be number 1. I guess Zoom is no longer the number 1 cheer holder. And that sucks. How hot has it been? And then, I mean, out of power, so everything in your fridge was probably gone. I wanna know what's over my head. I can't exactly see. Oh, hey, look, there's a story right there. You can change it apparently, so you can have top cheers and top cheers for the week. 48 degrees in your house? That's kind of cold.
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions, witches, and worse. You curse yourself for getting on the road so late. In the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself, fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees. But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist. He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great, shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders. His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is. His hand, so pale it's almost blue in the moonlight, grips the reins in a fist. You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away, back into the mist. He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight.
Morbid. Okay, so we can continue this way, or we can go this way. We ain't even following the trails, we just making our own trail. There's like something yellow way over there. Revens, thank you for the
XD.
1-bit. XD, you are now the top cheer. Congratulations for your 1 cheer top cheer. Thank you for so much for that 1 itty bitty. I think with this we can actually hitchhike at some point. Use left arrow and so on.
Hey there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me, if you're respectful, that is. This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn. These here are my venturing companions. Kaz is the big un, and the one with the spots is Flip. I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat, and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up.
Oh, thank you, Evans. How you been?
I want to hear one of them venturing tales. Got any?
Let's see. So it's a boss. If you tell them the types of story they press, you'll gain their trust and the eye will open. When it opens fully, the next time you meet them, they'll open up more about their life. They'll remember this from the conversation to conversation, so don't feel you need to open the eye all the way when you first meet someone. Dance around and you get to know them. Tell the story about the boy who ran away with his
Ain't
father.
life got enough tearjerkers in it without telling stories like that? Jeez.
All I have is sad stories.
Freedom. Well, teacher used to talk about freedom like America was eat up with it. But the tramping kind seems to be just about the only real freedom still in supply. Ain't no freedom from an empty stomach or bad weather, unless you're rich. Hey, do you got any really thrilling stories to tell? I'm hankering for one of those.
Thrilling stories? I mean... That's kind of adventurous. That's kind of adventurous.
Were you trying to scare me? Well, you didn't go far enough. Traps and such like. Well, one time in Fort Worth, a feller tried to take Cass and Flip away. Said a kid couldn't look out for him proper like. That they were fat in Fort Worth and they were going to the pound so that he could find him a good home. Well, before I could much argue, Flip bit the hell out of that busybody, and Cass and I joined in shortly. I don't think I ever seen a fella so surprised. Guess I ain't going back to Fort Worth no more. Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
I don't have a funny story.
Not sure I quite follow that. Authority? Bosses? I ain't nobody's little Angelina if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs. I don't need no jocker looking out for me. So if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful. You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Think of... I'm in the mood for something real funny like.
We don't got nothing funny. Thank you for the follow.
I don't get too much out of tales that are so cheerful. Not enough excitement for me. What's my future look like? I ain't looking for a traveling companion if that's what you mean. I do fine by myself, so just stick to minding your own. Hey, tell me one of those exciting stories.
We're gonna lose this one.
I usually like the scary stuff, but your story needed more punch, I think. Wishes come true, huh? If I had to say, it'd be great to have red beans and rice cooked with some fatty bacon. Supposed to be a Mississippi River specialty, but I ain't never had it. Well, night's over. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
We're gonna be in New York. We're currently in Massachusetts. New York is like... that away?
Didn't understand all your stories, but I'd gladly listen to more if I see you again. The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day, with things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if and you know where to look.
We should have gathered more stories. As you walk down the road, a black crow flutters down to land in your path. It looks at you, cocks up the head, and speaks. Well, you've got a long, long road ahead, don't you? All these people to chase down, so I hear it laughs. I got some experience when it comes to chasing folks. Tell me about it, ignore the crow. Well, if you want, you could go find your friend again. Ask him more about their life. They might want better stories this time, though it peers up at you. Didn't they tell you where they were headed next? Yeah. But hey, the world is full of people. Bet you could find another friend like that if you went looking around. There's more than one interesting person in the asylum for sure. It gives a gravely laugh. That's what humans say anyways. With that, it launches into the air and disappears. Okay.
The women are oblivious to your approach. Their eyes are shut. Their touch, where they hold hands, is gentle. They speak in low tones. One stifles a burst of laughter, but it brings a smile to their faces.
Sorry,
Says the one who laughed.
don't be.
Another assures her. They don't look up.
And we give thanks for those who have left us, who we wanted gone, for the skills to thrive without them, and for the companions who make the effort joyful.
I haven't dropped any frames, so
The voice
could
of the
just be your
youngest
end.
wavers. The woman to her left squeezes her hand. This is not a scene to intrude upon. A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another. The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him.
No! 32!
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us!
The driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck. The long-lost brothers pose in front of traffic, cry snot pouring out of their noses. As angry passerby wave you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
We've gone in a huge ass circle. Yeah, we've gone to Portland already. Oh, we can also explore, earn money, train station, store.
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner, a car approaching. Compelled by the cold and foreboding night, you don't question it as you drag your bones into the cab. But you realize immediately how strange the vehicle is. It's a sleek thing, like a shallow parabola gliding over the street. Where to? He asks. You have to stop and think. Eventually, you name Boston Common, the only landmark you know in this town.
The wine or
He peels off
cheese game?
silently. He
Never heard
takes
of
you
that.
through ever odder streets, flanked by painfully clean, gleaming buildings and signage for businesses you don't recognize. Even the air seems different. It doesn't smell so sharply of gasoline and coal. Eventually, you come to a stop. The fare's in glowing numbers above his dashboard. It's much too high. Surely a mistake. No charge, he insists. You look like you need a break. And then you find yourself on the curb at Boston Common, under thick moonlight, in a city much as you'd left it before.
We don't have enough money to go to Detroit or anything. Let's earn money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. You can look for work. Doors close on your face like giant dominoes. Boom, boom, boom. Bad luck today, or is it something else? We could change our outfit, or we can attempt pleasantries. Oh, we're bad.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade
I guess
upon my
I didn't know that you could enter
I'm gonna keep that
cities,
strife tucked
so
in my soul. 'Cause when my toes burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole.
this game looks weird. Is the battery charge? It's interesting. It doesn't really have a tutorial when you go into it. You just make choices.
Well, I got no
Cue
companion
to hitchhike, cue to hitchhike.
except the wind and the sea.
I guess you can't go in.
And when I'm gone empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the
No, come back.
waters of
Come
this
back.
land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
I already went to
This
Boston.
will be my tale, my vagrant song.
just gonna stand here. Eventually somebody will pick us up, right?
Well, I'm gonna scroll my
Something like
name
that.
on the bare bones of the earth.
I don't know if it's like in the 1930s or 40s,
Heels into the
but it,
ground.
like there's, it seems very old westerny.
For to tally up my worth, I won't leave much
How you
behind
poop?
to drag
I'm not
me
even getting
down.
picked up anymore. But we're almost to New York.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep that stride stuck.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue, unusual in this region where bog iron colors the river's brown. Across the way, a goat with great leather wings laps up the water, its sunken red eyes fixed on your every movement. You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence. You cup the water in your hands, ice cold somehow, and take a swallow, soothing the coarseness in your parched throat. Clear as the water is, the stream bed isn't visible, even looking straight down. Your feet don't reach the bottom, so you float in the cool water, feeling washed clean. The ripples flow as far as you can see, never fading. The winged goat snorts and heads in the other direction.
I'm wondering if this is the boss again.
My vagrant soul.
No, but we can hear his story. You share this bus stop with an old man who shifts from foot to foot, thumping his suspenders and watching the passing traffic with anxious focus. Hey, he blurts, suddenly turning towards you. Want to hear a good story? Sure. With the air of a man who's distracting himself from something, he stumbles quickly through a tale about the boy whose shiftless father left him alone in the woods, confusing himself now again. Backtracking, adding new details out of order, you barely piece the story together. Wait a second. You suddenly realize that he told you a twisted version of the story about the boy who ran away from his father, but massively changed, with whole new chunks you don't remember. It's true, the man insists, turning his wincing eyes back towards the road, and with that, the conversation seems over. The boy's shiftless father left him alone in the woods. Hey, Soom, how you doing? Let's earn some money. It's Panhandle.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry
ferry
churns
churns.
gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly. The man gives you a once-over as you approach. His newsboy cap is ragged with age.
You look familiar. Did I meet you at Union Square? The demonstration. It got bloody, but I'm used to that after Italy.
He claps a hand to his hat to steady it from the breeze.
When Gramsci was arrested, many of us had to flee. I came into New York, and here I continue our efforts. The workers' voices will be heard.
He leans against a fence and turns to face you as you pass him by. At his back is a bag full of bird seed. He assures you that the gawky birds perching on his body are the last remaining passenger pigeons.
They look extinct to you?
You're not sure those dull gray pigeons look anything like the pictures you've seen of passenger pigeons, though you can't help thinking they stare at you a little too intently.
They're lovely creatures. Guileless, really.
Hunted damn near to extinction, weren't you? He strokes one of his birds under the chin. You think you see drips of blood flecking the creature's dirty gray head. You sense it's about time you start moving on.
You be kind to the little birds now, you hear?
You hurry along the road, though the flapping of ungainly wings seems to follow you for hours.
A pigeon keeper. Jet Black Crow alights on the low branch. Look at you. Think you got some good stories lately? Well, I heard better. Much better. It seems to wink at you. Want to hear my tricks? Ask about stories. The ones you got now? Psh, pathetic stuff. You tell these stories around and they'll come back more exciting, more satisfying. So always listen to the stories and other folks tell. Their tales are less true, sure, but more useful around the campfire. The boss has a point about the true ones, though. The Crow admits they're extra interesting. You learn a couple of folks' true life stories, and everyone will like them, no matter what kind of story they want to hear. Any other tips? Well, everyone's the captain of their destiny. Gives a burst of laughter. Ain't no bootstraps in the world that can save you now, but the choices you make, they change the kind of story you can tell. Ruffles its feathers a short shrug. Choose wisely, or don't. I know that the boy was supposed to be somewhere. We're in New Jersey. We need to go back up to New York. We could keep going that way, and there's more people that way. Oh, it's asking me if I've heard about trains. Trains. So, randomly getting talked to birds now. And I'd already figured out the birds thing.
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue. Unusual in this region. You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. Over the hill, A scorched one-room house lies abandoned, 2 of its 4 walls in ruins.
Stop in Philly, we will stop in Philly.
The goat opens its mouth and wails. A protracted, shrill sound, indistinguishable from the cry of a human infant. It only begins to stop when you take several steps back. The winged goat doesn't follow. Instead, it lies down inside the burnt house, surrounded by portraits of a large family, glass frames stained brown from smoke.
So we've got 2 versions of that story. So there's multiple places here we can stop. We can hop a train. Story here, and then we hear a story here. Oh, it's the guy with his... Oh, but the guy... Story grew in the telling of the rider in the woods. So we told the story of the rider in the woods, and then that kid told the story of the rider in the woods.
The edge of summer has turned the ocean choppy and misanthropic, and the skies miserably gray. The boardwalk prophetess lured you into her tent with a promise to read a fortune for free. Seems like business has slowed to a crawl already. Before you lie the instruments of her profession. There's tarot cards, Rider-Waite, but also Marseille for traditionalists, rosary beads and costume jewelry, and of course, the centerpiece, a great glass globe. With practiced theatricality, she goes directly for the crystal ball, letting her eyes unfocus as though she can see a great distance into it. She brings up names, places, asks if you've known someone called John, if you have a relative in Newark.
We could be a dick, or we can be a good sport. I'm gonna be a good sport because that would open up a new story.
To what she says, and together you dance towards some insights about your romantic prospects. It's relieving to meet an honest charlatan instead of the ghouls and ghasts of the road. You might even say you're having fun, until she abruptly stops talking. Your eyes, she says, her voice suddenly drained of the bassy drama that was her stock in trade. You've met him. You've seen him, too. You carry him with you. The words that come out of your mouth are not your own. They seem unwilling or unable to form properly out of a human throat. They're more like snarls, warning noises of a vicious animal. The glass globe shatters. Your vision is hazy, and your body is not your own. You came far to get away from me, the voice lodged inside you says. But this one has a way of wandering. The fortune
Did we make a
teller
deal with the
collapsed,
devil?
Cowering. Consider your debt to me repaid. When you come to your senses, you're lying face down on the rough wood of the boardwalk, sore and weak. An empty patch of wood, cleaner than the surrounding planks, is all that remains is of the fortune.
Did we just kill the
teller's
fortune
tent.
teller? I think we did.
Muddling through the dark, you stumble into the path of the white deer. Its beauty strikes you at once. It is something otherworldly, beyond borders. A moon swimming in the void. Human shouts not far away break the spell. The deer's ears prick up. This thing is being hunted.
Let's help the deer.
You know a way out of here. As the hunter's cries get louder, you approach the deer carefully, palms outstretched. As you grow close, your features become clearer in the light of the deer's aura. It bolts into the path of an oncoming train.
No. No.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep that stride stuck in my
All we wanted to do was help the poor deer.
When my toes burn low and my trains run out.
My twin brother Paul and I always got into trouble, but we were good. We didn't do nothing to anybody till we left. Then we hurt a lot of people. Me, more so than Paul, because he didn't make it through. The march I was on, the bonus on, it's less a bonus and more an acknowledgement of what I've had to suffer. Civilians will never understand. Tell me a happy story. Something to make the world seem kind.
We can tell him that story. Tell the story of the two light housekeepers.
I liked that one. There's some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quickly. Love? It was a real long time ago. Pulled a ribbon on her hair, and her pigtails came undone, and she tattletaled on me. I never really tried after that. Know any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore.
Don't think we know it. That's the closest that I can get to a funny
You
one.
know, the government told us to keep our chins up too. But I didn't believe them either. Freedom is getting paid what you deserve, and getting enough to get by. Freedom is the ability to be free of pain. So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few.
I don't know any funny stories. I'm gonna have to deal with the stories I tell.
I don't really scare at that stuff any. Home. Well, my sister, Jessie, won't forgive me for what happened to Paul, so she won't let me back home.
I did make a deal with the devil at the casino and totally with the statues as well.
I made my own way for a while after that, till no one could afford gardeners. Who could stand to care for the land nowadays? So anyway, tell me a funny story.
I don't know any funny stories. I'm sorry. I know a happy story.
Life ain't like that, in my experience. But I guess my experience ain't normal. My family, they were good to me. Ma and Pa, and to Paul, and to my sister Jessie. Some days I wish I could find Jessie again and have her help me. Know any good jokes? Not so... You know, the government told us to keep our chins up too, but I didn't believe them either. My faith? Well, God and I haven't been on speaking terms since I got the infection. I gave the fucker so many chances to make things right, and he hasn't followed through. The sun's coming up soon. I should get ready to get back on the road. I'm headed out this way next. Will our paths cross?
Mm-mm.
If you see any others like me, treat them well. Invite them to share your fun
Depends what
too.
kind of deal
Anything
he's talking
faithful,
about, Flash.
anything
Yes, he totally stole my soul, and now I'm on a track
None of
against
us are
the
whole.
USA to find out stories.
I won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea.
If I go back up towards New York, I can talk to him again, but I don't have any funny stories.
I'm gone empty. They're the ones who'll bury me.
We can explore Washington, earn money, train station, store.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by and by I'll see them far and long.
Let's look for work.
'Cause when the
You're one of the first people in line when this factory's doors open. You join a crowd of people streaming through the machine room towards the back. When the doors to the furthest storage room open, though, the folks in the front ranks recoil. A few even scream, "You wanna get paid, don't ya?" shouts the foreman. "Get in there, get in." The folks behind you shove forward and soon you're pushed inside. Holy shit, this room is full of sucking snakes. Well, let's stay and work. Grab him. So, grab him, shouts the foreman, passing out nets. They're harmless. The remaining workers get over their fear and start scooping up snakes by the netful. The beasts hiss pathetically. You dump them into a chute in the far wall. It does pay pretty well. During lunch, you rest of the warehouse floor. The snakes pile up in the corner and watch you all with enormous suspicion. It's then that you glance out the window and notice a fading logo on the sign saying Sylvester Bros, fine boots, poor snakes. Whew.
The mailman's uniform is dated and worn. He sits on the edge of the road, head in hands. He looks up as you approach. "Can you help?" "Car clipped me. I think my legs... Well, I'd appreciate it if you could deliver this for me." The letter's addressed to a James Gibson Sr., 120 J Street. But the city stymies you. The blocks run straight from I to K. You stop a man for directions, but he shakes his head and laughs. "Someone's playing a joke on you. There's no J Street. Over here." A woman in a brown coat overheard your question. She steers you down an alley. Someone's chalked a big orange J on one wall.
I thought Clovis was late. Go left up ahead. Old Man Gibson's the third on the right.
As you round the corner, the world changes. J Street is a place out of time, like the city forgot an entire street a century ago and carried on around it, oblivious. Even the noise and bustle of D.C. can't penetrate this little pocket.
Whoever's voice acting this has one of those like audiobook voices where you may fall asleep to it, but it's good.
The man who answers is ancient and stooped. He peers at the letter.
I think it's from my son. I don't see so well anymore. Will you read it to me?
Do we tell him the truth or do we
You
lie?
tear the letter open. It isn't good news.
It's an old man. And I bet you his son's like, I'm dying. And we could lie and we could make his day happy. Or we tell him the truth. And he'll be in despair. Think we already have like 2 despairs?
You read the letter, omitting a few key details, but his face still falls.
I don't think he's coming home,
He says,
it's been so long. I don't think he's ever coming back.
he takes the letter.
Thank you for bringing word, at least.
Feels bad, man. We can go to New York, Chicago, Cincinnati, or Atlanta. You're in Washington right now. Oh wait. Let's go here. Wait, there's a story over there, so let's cross that way. There's literally 200 stories we're gonna hear. See, this is kind of the story game I like. If only I moved faster. Or if I could figure out the controls for that.
As you walk along the river near an unfinished bridge, a man with a tool belt catches sight of you. Hey, over there, he calls out. You look like you could use a quick way to get some hard-earned money. Hard-earned is right. The bridge hangs high over a perilous drop. Great, he exclaims. Suppose you'll want a safety belt. We Thunderbird people don't need 'em. We fly when we fall. He chuckles. You find yourself up high, looking over the rushing river that crashes around the foundation of the bridge. As you work side by side, the man mentions, "You can see Thunderbirds up here if you know how to look." You ask him to explain. Practice your peripheral vision, if you dare. Last thing you need up here is for them to see you seeing them and come swooping at you, he says, laughing. You only see the clouds thicken. It sure does pass the time working. The man pays you well when you're done with the job.
Well, I got money. We're not even following the regular road anymore. We gave up. We should try the train once in a while, because there's more stories there.
A few wanderers like you are looking for a place to camp.
We heard there's a Leatherman cave nearby.
They tell you. They describe a locally famous vagrant who hiked this area for almost 30 years.
He's dead now, but his caves are the best place to camp at any town.
You and the other wanderers find the cave easily, because someone's lit a fire there. As you approach, you see a silhouette bend over the flames with an odd creaking sound, like a door swinging in the wind. His coat is crudely stitched from leather plates that squeak against each other.
The Leatherman.
One of the others whispers.
A ghost.
The Leatherman must have heard, but he just stares. His face is corpse still. He's eating, you say, and point out his can of beans.
Je ne suis pas un fantôme,
The Leatherman says, and adds,
idiot. Oh,
bursts your companion.
Canadien.
Soon, he and the Leatherman are deep in conversation, and your group has a safe place to rest.
Okay, let's see. Huge storm, this farmer gasped, pointing to the clouded horizon. We gotta get the produce indoors before the fields wash out. Can you help? You and his family strip the fields of vegetables. When the rain hits, you're all safe and sound, and you got some coins in your pocket. Hell yeah. Oh, look, it's Buffalo, New York. I think I'm getting closer to... Yeah, I'm getting closer to the kid again. Hopefully he doesn't want any funny stories, because I got none.
Outside the small thicket of apple trees, the phrase "tended to by John Chapman" is carved into a fence post. Nearby, a hound lies on its side, perfectly still. Flies buzz around its ears. But a grizzled man pauses at his digging to shoo them off. There's an extra shovel. With it, the two of you make short work of the grave. He tells you about his beliefs, why he's raising apple orchards in the middle of the country. It's a sin to graft, he tells you. Hurts the tree. He stoops to the ground and lowers the pup into the earth. Tears flow freely. I'll see him again in heaven, he tells you.
Oh, that's all
Our
sad.
souls are bound by love. He wipes his eyes. I don't think I can bear to stay here, though. Maybe I'll set out again. His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. You got a light, friend? You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. Thanks, he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip. Don't rightly know where I'm going. You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. Don't rightly know how I got going, either. They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet. He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
That's interesting. This bar is crowded with people from every walk of life. Businessmen, young men in muddy overalls, and a crowd of girls in slinky dresses prepping their blood alcohol content for a night on the town. But it's the squat, sharp-eyed man in the fedora who catches your attention. He launches into a wild story about the shootout between the female bootleggers and the cops. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. You know this one? You tell him the story about the women arrested for bootlegging. That's it? I think I like mine more. It's more exciting for sure. So that's why I'll keep telling it my way. He says, let's get another round and do a competitive test on the other folks here, shall we? At the end of the night, the whole bar agrees the new version is better. Might be because your new friend bought them all drinks.
Hey, traveler. Come to join my fire again? Well, I guess I know you well enough to let you set yourself down for a spell. You remember Cass and Flip? You want to hear more about my travels? Well, sure, why not? Nothing better than trading stories around the fire, and I got stories. I want a story that scares me. Now I'm older, almost nobody can do it. Give me your best shot.
Okay, well I got the Elegant Woman. I also got the story of the fortune teller and the curse around Philadelphia. Which one scared him? Hey Rybo, how you doing? How's my favorite Scottish man?
Well, that sure was a downer. Give me a good venture tale instead. Sad. Well, so you think just 'cause I'm young, I gotta be sad, crying after my mama every night.
No.
I don't need you looking after me, so if you're offering, don't. And I thought I told you to be respectful. What you really ought to be asking yourself is if you want to keep enjoying my spot or not. Hey, do you got any really thrilling stories to tell? I'm hankering for one of those.
Thrilling story. Oh. Thank you for the gift in that sub to Flash. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Flash, welcome to the Tay Squad. And Flash, welcome to the Tay Squad for 3 months in a row. Welcome back. Enjoy your emotes. Don't worry, I'll be getting them redone soon as I find an emote artist that I like. But yes, New emotes. Show be coming soon. Thrilling stories.
Ain't life got enough tearjerkers in it without telling stories like that? Jeez.
I'm really bad.
Death. Now why you wanna go worry about that? Don't got enough on your plate as it is. Ain't nobody can avoid changing. Can't run from the dying. But the living can be mighty fine if you go about it right. You got any happy stories?
I do got happy stories. So do we want to show him love, or the one about two brothers? Legit, my squad were legends today.
Now that's a happy story.
Two close games, one after another, with my squad bearing the brunt of the enemy, being the only squad to do anything. That's pretty cool.
My family. There ain't no way I'm gonna start jaw flapping about those bastards. Judases, the lot of them. Enough said.
First game, we sneaky beakied in and found the enemy fob. Ninja dug that, and they were like, what? Because after that, they seemed to run away, and we capped Tempest to state. That was pretty cool. You were playing the space game again, right? I lurked in your stream the other day.
You got any happy stories?
Other happy story is this one. Streamed it as well.
Sometimes I need a tale like that just to remind me it's not all depressed out there. Love stories. Huh. Folks sure seem to be eat up with the notions of love. Singing and talking about it all the damn time.
Never played Squad. What's it about, really? Is it space adventure, or?
Not sure I see the appeal myself.
Tell me about it.
I'm in the mood for something real funny like.
I don't got a funny story. I think that would be funny, and I don't have any of those.
What's the use in
military
telling
sense?
sweet happy tales if in the make you snooze? Trust. Well, I figure tramps are apt to trust each other, to a point. Sure, there are backbiters out there, but it's the folks who act respectable, the so-called upstanding ones that I keep an eye on. Oh, heck, the night's over already. I sure enjoyed talking to you, but I gotta get on. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way. The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day is a venture. With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good, but it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if you know where to look.
Losing your voice is key. These men lean against the wall of this hardware store, smoking and chatting. They wave you over. You heard this one before? They launch into a group recitation of the dead woman in the yellow ribbon, interrupting one another in their excitement to tell it. You recognize the story. It's the story about the elegant woman in the small town. Someone's added to it in the meantime, though. What do you think? Asks one of the men, eyes bright. You think it really happened? Of course. Well, I'm not sure myself, he replies, but damn, it sounds wild. Which way do we want to go? Apparently, if we keep going southwest, there's stuff that way. Southeast, there's still stuff that way. Let's travel this way. A car crammed with well-dressed vacationers pulls up at the gas pump. Fill me up, will you? The driver drawls a thick transatlantic effect. You oblige. She tips you pretty well and roars off down the road. Find leather bags bouncing and rattling on the roof.
'Cause when that very man come for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much behind to drag me down.
I'm going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now. I think Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania, right? Maybe a Scottish voice screaming down like it was God himself. Move the fucking quad and stop building stuff in fucking fobs. Oh, fucks, Jesus. Either be a competent or give to someone else.
When my trains run out of track, I won't be no one else to dig my
Horseman in the truck. All this while, we're getting mortared to fucked, and my most common order was solid cover now. That's pretty interesting. I don't think I would be able to handle it. I'd probably squeak and cry. The policeman in the truck on this corner is having a pretty wild argument with someone on the other end of the radio. No, he keeps saying, no way. You listen in as the man on the radio finishes a wild story about the rising workers movement in New York. Wait a second. I swear this is what happened, the cop over the radio insists. That's when it clicks. You know the story. It's a stranger version of the story of the determined socialist in New York, but with some bits left out or replaced. Ain't true, the cop in the truck sighs. If only he knew.
Cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by and by
Clouds roll together to fill the sky.
Do we find cover or watch the sky churn?
You shelter beneath a rocky overhang. Above, the clouds turn gray and purple and blue. Lightning arcs between them. The hairs on the back of your arms stand on end. The lightning is so strong that it seems to open a path in the haze above you. You are sure you see massive talons curved around the clouds. The thunder is so immense that the ground trembles. Your lips and hands tingle from the electric charge that fills the air until the dancing lightning passes on over the hills.
And is a legit PTSD simulator. I just don't do well with people yelling.
You come across a girl picking wild blueberries. She smiles and greets you.
Anin.
She offers you some from her birch bark basket.
Thank you.
You reach in the
Here's
basket for blueberries, but pull out a handful of small, smooth stones, all the colors of the rainbow. The snickering girl runs into the trees as fast and light as a rabbit.
Do we throw stones at the girl or do we drop the stones? Let's throw the stones.
When the stones reach the top of their arc above your head, they turn into butterflies, all the colors of the rainbow. Your heart leaps in surprise. Incredible.
When the stones reach the top of their arc above your head, they turn into butterflies, all the colors of the rainbow. Your heart leaps in surprise. Incredible. You're gonna have to shout over the sound of multiple 80mm mortars impacting the ground all around you. Yeah, some fucking cover. Move it, move. This sounds like Battlefield 1 PTSD right there. Let's try to hitchhike and
when I'm gone empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be my tale.
Oh, we're stuck in this car until the car stops. I'm going to Chicago.
Just a moment there, he says, shaking your hand. I'm Paul Dalhart from the Republican Herald. You may have heard of it. Syndicated in 6 counties. Well, no matter. But listen, you may have noticed a vocal few out there, I call them naysayers, who throw up their hands and fly the white flag as soon as life gets a little tough. But wouldn't you agree that it's never been a better time to live and do business in this country? He nods happily, scribbles down your details for the paper. I could tell you weren't a naysayer the first time I saw you. My thanks. And his voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper as he palms you a quarter. From a brother in arms.
That's interesting. See, the nearest thing is way over there. Actually, no, there's a campfire right there.
Well, I'm gonna have my spade up upon my way back. I'm gonna keep those roads.
The car is a lifeline, your one hope to escape the encroaching storm. It rattles along a few yards ahead of the storm front, jouncing and juddering. one pothole away from being swallowed by the choking dust. A figure clings to support straps mounted on the back. You grab the straps and haul yourself up.
Oh,
Shouts the woman on the back.
a fellow observer.
She's wrapped in a scarf and aviation goggles, juggling a pen and a notebook while hanging onto the unsteady car. The dust scours your face and rips at your clothes.
We're not done with our observations.
She threads one arm through the straps and makes another attempt to write, but it comes out illegible.
Blast it. Get inside and take dictation, will you?
I want to say she's insane.
You clamber through the open back window, and she hands you pen and notebook. You scribble furiously while she dictates the finer qualities of the dust and wind assaulting the car until her voice is hoarse.
That'll do.
She bangs on the roof.
Judith, let's go.
This game is super interesting. This would be a new person that we haven't met yet. We're all the way like across the country now.
I've met a lot of people like you on this road. There's something you want from it, isn't there? A desire that scratches and scrapes away at the sides of your body. Does being out here feed that part of you? It's that way for me, living in a state of motion, resting nowhere, returning to no one. I've been a wandering ghost for a while now, and I'll be that way for some time to come.
A super rad way to present a click for storyline game. What you mean, nerd?
But that's a fate I should have known I was in for.
Oh wait, I get it. Come on, I get it. It's a really good storyline. I'm liking it. Like, I'm learning a bunch of different stories. Some of the stories I've heard before. And it makes me want to keep playing to know, like, more of the story.
I'm a poet, after all.
Granted, you have 213 stories to find out, so it's probably going to take like 5 hours, depending on how also slow you move.
Alone, out here. I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
Hopeful story. Hopeful story. That scared me, the whispering in my ear. I want to say the future. That's a happy, hopeful story.
I like that one. Makes me feel the way Silas used to in the old days. I had a family. We were close. Me and Jess and Deborah, even Pauline. We had a shared goal in the world. When
I
I
like
think
the
about
voice
any of them
actors.
now, though, I can feel poison rising in my chest. They didn't do anything wrong. They're all still grand folks. It's just that the situation with Silas ruined my attitude towards them, too. Being jilted plays a mean trick on your capacity for love. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
Sadness? Hell yeah, I got all of them.
That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your sorrow. I liked it. I know sadness. These days, the melancholy just settles over me like a heavy bay fog. It makes its residence with me, and I accommodate it. I start to think, well, the world isn't made for being happy in, not for someone like me. My old friends have their happiness. Jess and Deborah, Pauline, Silas too, maybe. And good for them. It'd be wrong to begrudge someone their happiness, wouldn't it? No matter how jealous you are. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
Optimistic. Optimistic. Holy crap, chat is working. Hey Jack, how you doing? I would say this would be the most optimistic, would be the taxi cab one?
Well, I could find that kind of movie theater story at any stop along the road. The future? Well, what do you want from this life you've been given? It's good to march forward, thinking you can reach the goal you set out for yourself. Of course, we both know it doesn't always work out. Maybe it never works out. Not many people I know seem to have gotten what they want. Except for Pauline, maybe. Personally, I don't think what I wanted from this world was so unreasonable. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own.
I got more sad, don't worry. Really don't. We could tell the drunkard one. Our story of the white deer that got hit by the train.
The tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever tried writing poetry? Freedom. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to use it. When I consider my situation in the mornings, I mean, soberly, I know there's no way to bring things back to the way they were. I think I'll just find my own path. Surely, that's what's meant to happen now that I'm no longer bound to anyone. But how can I? That group was everything I knew. I was cast adrift by what happened, and I can't come to rest. Last town I stopped in, I didn't have cash for the bookstore. Do you have any stories like those paperback adventures? Exciting. Well, that's not the kind of thing I can write, but I like travel. Well, I've wandered for a long time, but I only feel worse than I did before.
I'm getting better at telling the stories to the bosses.
I walk and walk and never get anywhere. Never solved. If I'd known things were going to end up this way, maybe I wouldn't have fancied myself a poet. Turns out, it's a miserable way to conduct yourself, you know? Don't worry about me, though. I'll be fine. Worry about taking care of yourself. I miss the old group. I really do. I still have that image in my head. Pauline's house, the poets, Jess, me. But on top of them all, there's Silas. In my memory, he looms. He haunts. Do you ever meet someone so far above everyone else? It's like they were from a different plane altogether. That was him. A divine presence among normal human beings. Silas was part of the group, but at the same time, he wasn't. He was better than any of us. Wiser, gentler, stronger. We all held him in respect. We were in awe of his power as a writer, in reverence for the beauty of his soul, I still love him. Look, I'm headed out this way. If you find yourself out there, maybe we'll meet again.
It's not going very far. I want to find my way back out from Chicago. Let's go to Milwaukee real quick. Looks like there's already a fire there. Yeah, let's just go to Chicago. Did we explore in Chicago? I don't think we explored in Chicago.
It's the midday, and yet this whole neighborhood is eerily quiet. Everyone seems to have retreated into their homes as if warned of something. You soon realize what? The reciprocating sound of a Thompson gun, emptying its drum. You get behind a car, putting the engine block between you and the sound. But it's muffled, coming from inside a building. You're in no danger, you think. So you allow yourself a peek above the black hull of the car, and running down the cobblestone street, a man in fine, blood-spattered clothes. He has his hands out, mouth open, screaming something, but you don't catch what he says. He's drowned out by gunfire, and his body slumps to the ground.
So we run away from the scene of the crime, or do we keep watching? Let's keep
The
watching.
men responsible, 3 abreast in dark overcoats and wide hats, walk up to him to check on the body. The smallest of the 3 has a nervous energy about him.
People are gonna see us, boss.
People ain't gonna see nothing. Not on these streets.
Let's see. Chicago. Would panhandling work better or looking for work? Let's look for work. Digging holes, not what you had in mind, but damn, they're digging a lot of holes in this part. Foreman assigns you to a work group with a mix of other disheveled men and women and sends you off to dig a pit by the water fountain. You just keep quiet. Hey, we can go all the way to St. Louis if we wanted to. I do need to go back, though. We'll see if we can catch a train to St. Louis from the other place. I'm gonna walk all the way back to where we're going. I don't see another story out here for miles, so... Oh wait, no, there's a story way over there in Detroit. I'm going into Michigan. Right now we're in Indiana. Should have just caught the train to Detroit. See, I still need to learn the map. And we need to get more stories, because as we keep talking to more bosses, they're gonna get harder.
The plants grow and blossom as you watch. The man goes down the line, applying a few drops from a vial as he goes. As the liquid soaks in, each plant pushes up from the soil, unfolding and stretching for the sky. He turns to you.
It's quite something, isn't it? Soy here strangles the crops. People are starving. But even when the plants survive, they don't grow fast enough to fill people's bellies.
He smiles.
My miracle formula will change that.
He shakes his head.
I'm not giving up my secrets that easily. The state will pay a lot of money for this.
He shakes the vial. He tears off a leaf.
Here, try some.
Yeah, learning the map via taking trains and knowing exactly where I am and knowing where stories are that I haven't gotten. Because the baseline of this is you made a deal with, I'm guessing, the devil, and you gotta learn the stories of the US and you gotta tell them to people who will tell them to more people, and stories will grow. That's the baseline of where I've gotten right now.
It's just bitter at first.
And you have to collect different
But
kinds
as
of
you
stories
swallow,
depending on your
the fibrous
choices.
mass burns in your throat. You fight to hold it down, and your stomach knots tight when the plant matter hits it. You cough and hiccup. The man looks at you, curious.
What do you think?
Tastes like
He
unwashed
waves a
death.
hand.
Well, yes, there are some kinks to work out, but people are starving. They can't be fussy. It won't be long before no one around here goes hungry again.
Your stomach protests. You feel like you'll be hungry again very soon indeed.
Like right now I'm in Michigan. I should eventually find myself back to Michigan, I think, because there's a guy with one leg somewhere. Oh, need to find my way back to... It looks like Rhode Island. That would be southish, I guess? See, and then not all the places have, like, railroads or cars going towards it. So hitchhiking or hopping a train would be hard.
Over a shared, crusty loaf of bread, the farmer notices you looking at a prominent, tattered scarecrow in the field.
Oh, you like old Barney?
He asks.
Does a damn good job scaring the vermin. Shame about the real fella. He was a funny one. Old Barney hiding out in our stables and lofts, just passing along. We liked him. Well, all except the sheriff. Barney never harmed nothing. I sometimes shared bread with him, just like you here. When he disappeared, leaving just the clothes we gave him, I figured I'd put him to use. Never got to know his proper name neither.
Across the field, the wind in the corn whispers. Or is it the scarecrow?
I like how the music changes as you go across the map.
The storm swept in just before sundown, heralded by a purple sky and electricity in the air. He sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself.
Can't just stay here.
You catch.
Gotta find her.
He looks up at you.
My daughter was out down the road.
He balls his fists.
God, fuck this.
You said
He
the
hauls
F word.
open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm.
Do we try to help him find his daughter, or do we stay inside? Have you played the new Life is Strange episode yet? I haven't even played the first episode yet of Before the Storm. I do need to do it eventually. But tomorrow I have to play Final Fantasy 15. I have to finish Mass Effect. I have to finish a lot of games. And then I want to finish this game. I don't know. Logan, what do you think? Should we stay inside or should we help the guy try to find his daughter?
The dust scours your skin, and razor winds whip at your clothing.
Love
You
you too.
struggle for breath. The maelstrom has turned the world murky red.
No, I love you.
You don't see
You're
the farmer.
shite. Yeah, I even pre-ordered the movie and I haven't even finished it. Simon, what you doing? Not the movie, the game. Come here, Simon. Come here. Want up on my lap? Y'all didn't even know there was a Life is Strange movie. I'm a grown-ass man, but I still cried like a baby at Life is Strange. Hey, it's sad, okay? Okay, it's okay. Life is Strange is sad. It's okay. It's okay to have feelings. Logan cried during, what was it? What was that movie I made you watch? The Fault in Our Stars.
You press on through the storm. You see the farmer up ahead.
You didn't cry
He's on
during
his
Bunny
knees.
Drops when we watched
Great,
it.
Dark shape made from swirling dust looms over him. You manage no more than a cough. The dust thing engulfs the man in his body. The storm whips faster. You make it to safety, but don't manage any sleep. Storm settles in the early hours. You find the farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has one arm stretched out in front of him, as if to crawl.
So the guy, we didn't find his daughter. He died. Well. Oh, it looks like I took a half health there. Need to go here. Let's eat a good clam chowder. Let's
The
explore.
rain is coming down so hard. It's a wonder the sidewalk hasn't started to crack. You manage to find a narrow patch under a ledge where you can stay dry. A squat man, bundled up in a black fur coat, matched pants to
Say what can make me feel this way, my dear, my dear. Talking about my girl, my girl.
I'm gonna sneeze. No, I don't need to sneeze. Gal, thank you for that host. I appreciate you. How was your stream? Welcome. We're playing a game called Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. And it's a story-based game, and the music is phenomenal. I'm really liking the artistic scenery. And so far the story is like super interesting. But yeah, how was your stream? I played RimWorld. How's it going? It's going okay. Today was super stressful. And now I'm chilling. Now I'm chilling. Slept a lot. And I'm not tired. I may be yawning, but I'm not tired. That's the thing. Like, I'll yawn even when I'm not tired. My sleep schedule's fucked up. You're playing Nier Automata? It's so good. You'll like it. That to be burrito. Nier's great. I love Nier. Hey guys, it's on Humble Bundle. Y'all should buy it on Humble Bundle. I'm a sellout. 2A is goals. Hell yeah. What ending are you on, Hamster? Hey, but if you buy it on Humble Bundle, you'll get to support me. Well, not really me, but me. You'll get to support Blue Esports. Actually, what bundles are on Blue Esports right now? Code your own games. There's another coding book bundle or Turdman. There's an Activision sale. 75% off all Activision games. Let's see. THQ Nordic sale. 80% off. Well, not all. 75% off all the games. Like 75% off most of the game. Y'all know what I mean. Looks like there's a good bunch of bundles. Destiny 2 expansion packs. Destiny 2 is 35% off for those of you that want Destiny 2. Prototype. I remember this game. I want this game. I'm adding it to my cart. Never played Prototype 2, but I remember playing Prototype 1. I think it was like on the... Yeah, it was on the Xbox, and it was on my cousin's Xbox, and I liked it. And then a bunch of the Call of Duty games are on sale. Legend of K, Darksiders, The Raven, Black Mirror. Sorry guys, I'm going shopping and I probably won't buy anything, but hey, it's okay. Most likely gonna get Prototype though. $4. It's $4.99, okay? True, I gotta think of Switzerland. Goddamn. I'm getting a job just so you can go to Switzerland with me? Well, besides Switzerland, we would also be going to France, Milan, hopefully Germany. I don't think she's gonna watch the whole VOD. Shout out to Clara for giving me this game to play. Do we give up the spot or do we refuse to move? Give up the
He
spot.
thanks you as you step aside, back into... Now that you see the man from a distance, You're not sure the fur is a coat. A pair of red eyes shine back at you.
Come to England? I want
The
to,
rain
because
stops a
a
minute
few of
later.
my viewers
You look back.
live there, and I want to go. Well, if I end up having enough money to stay for a month, like I know in at least Switzerland I'd have free stay while I'm there, but if I want to go to like Germany, I think the train from Switzerland is like 4 hours. I'd have to look at it and see like if it could just be a day trip or if I would have to get a hotel. And then figuring out how to get to England. Definitely want to go to England. And then we have TwitchCon coming right after it. This year's gonna be an expensive year. Let's see, we want to earn money. Look for work. What an opportunist. 10 cents each for bent lopsided umbrellas. You might be going this year, not yet? Not sure yet? Okay. You should definitely go though. Hey Logan, tomorrow can you remind me to go to the post office?
Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. An extended family inside defies the carrying capacity of the vehicle. The driver leans out the window. Want this? He swings a violin around by its neck. 10 bits. We need it for gas. You hear a muffled pounding from somewhere within the car.
We could decline, or I don't have that much. Let's just decline.
The back door breaks open, and a girl crawls over the laps of dusty bodies.
Don't you dare! That belongs to Louise Ames!
She shouts at you.
Louise Ames!
She's dragged back into the writhing nest of limbs, and the door slams shut. On your way, the driver tells you. You go.
Well, it's only costing me about $1,200 because of the hotel that we got, because we didn't want to deal with having a Airbnb or a hotel too far away. And also like spending money in food. So I'm not like eating just peanut butter sandwiches. I mean, I could probably survive on just having $1,000 bucks. Like 1K would pay for the hotel and then McDonald's for the weekend. But you could probably end up doing it cheaper, like, and then I don't have
Why,
to pay
hello
for.
there. Look like that's a heavy bag you're carrying. Let me get that for you. I insist.
And then I don't have to pay for like an airfare. 1K, yeah, because we decided to stay at the Hilton, and that's like attached to the con, so easier said than done, I guess. Like, it's attached to the hotel, or attached to the convention, so literally we walk out our door and there's the convention.
You see this uniform? It means you can trust me to make sure this is the most comfortable journey you've ever had in your life. Who am I? Well, I'm no George, I'll tell you that. But that's not important. This trip is about you, friend. Anyway, you must have some funny stories to tell. Share one.
We still don't have a funny story, I guess. Okay, Jack. Bye, Jack.
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. It'll make some passenger laugh.
Okay, I guess that was funny.
When it comes to the job, the right and wrong choices are pretty simple. When a passenger pays good money for a trip, it's only natural they expect a good trip in return. So a porter will treat you right because it's the right thing to do. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
Optimistic. I like this girl with the strange stones. Tell that one.
That's a tall one. Don't pull my leg, okay? Home is where we go back to. But there's nothing wrong with spending a little time in the rest of the world every now and again. Know any good tragic tales? I feel in the
Tragic
mood for one of
tales
those
I
right
have
now.
tons. Let's see, do you want to hear the one about the story of the dead woman and the yellow ribbon? Do you want to tell the story about the drunkard that fell off the line? I don't know, I got a lot. Or like, tell the story of the killers on the streets.
I guess you say what
Can make me
feel this way, my girl, my girl.
talking about my girl.
My girl.
Oh my gosh. Aatrox Lamalkai is now hosting me. Oh, hello. How was your stream, girly? Can we get a caster per Angel? Hello, Nuclear Raven. And hello, everybody coming from Angel's chat. Love you. Love you too. You're playing VR chat. How are the memes today?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you for the follow, Leo. Hello, Masteron? Maestron? I'm gonna fuck up that name. Hello, Giga Fortress 151. Hello, everyone, though. I am Taylor. I'm a variety streamer. Currently, I'm playing a sponsored game. I was given a game from a developer where basically I make Master than my name, Anton. Okay, Master Anton. Okay, I got it now. Basic. Got it. It's almost like Master Satire. And hello, Sarge. But yes, hello everyone. I'm Taylor. I'm a variety streamer. Play a lot of different games. Play the Overwatch mostly. Play a lot of single-player story-based games. So this game, if you like stories and kind of a creepy feel to it, you'll like this one because it's kind of like you make a deal with the devil and you have to travel across the United States and collect stories and whatnot. I'm almost getting to a point where I want to save and play something else a little bit. Might do some really bad CSGO or some really bad Overwatch. I actually need to finish my placements. But yeah, have a good stream, nerd. Going to play PUBG. Go enjoy that PUBG. Go get some chicken dinnies for me. I'm really bad at PUBG though too. I'm bad at everything. Let's be real. Thank you so much though, Angel. Love you. I could join you in some very bad Overwatch. I'd like to do very well. I mean, it was plat last season.
The sadness. No sadness here. When you ride on one of Mr. George Pullman's
But for
sleeping
those of
cars,
you that
you
have
leave your
been in my
sadness
stream
behind.
before the host, how are you guys liking the game? You think my internet died? Chat test? Mucho Cancillo. Well, hello everyone. Sit back, take a breather, drink some wine. Just kidding, this isn't wine, it's Ramune. Be a weeb. Mucho gracias, hamster si senor. I can speak like low-key Japanese. I mean, it's fine. I'm just bad. No senor. And then I can speak some Spanish to get me through a conversation. Like, hablo español, or hablo inglés, and then cuánto. Kinda like that. And I can tell you to shut up your stupid mouth in Spanish. Si, senor. But sadness, no sadness here. When my sleeping cars, you leave your
I
sadness
can
behind.
personally assure you of that. Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story.
No hablo español. Happy story. Let's see. Happy stories. I got no happy stories. I'm a sad person on the inside. I'm kidding. I'm not a sad person, but I try. Give me 5 minutes while I try to refresh 20 times, which has been bugging out a lot lately. Yeah, it's been happening.
Just like I told you, friend, if you're looking for family, it doesn't matter who you were before. Have any optimistic tales?
Optimistic tales. I have no optimistic tales. Shit. I'm gonna tell this one. Porky? Porky?
A positive attitude.
Omelette du fromage?
That's trust. You gotta have faith that a porter can keep you calm and comfortable. And we've gotta earn that faith each and every time. Another night over. I surely did enjoy all those stories, though. Maybe next time I'll let down my hair a bit. You must excuse me, friend. What kind of porter am I saying this trip is all about you, only to start talking about my own damn self? But enough of my indulgences. I hope I see you again.
Sweet. I think it automatically saves. It does. Sweet.